Safety video on the drill press. A lot of people assume that the drill press is easy to use and it's safe, and it is, but most of the injuries that I have personally in my engineering lab are on the drill press. These are not serious injuries, but they're not fun either. A lot of people get their knuckles hit by a piece of wood, and they just, these little tiny nicks on their fingers, or they get bruised up, and it's just, we want to avoid that, okay? So right from the start, the biggest thing that you need to know is if you're drilling a small piece of wood on the drill press, okay, this is a bad idea, because I'm going to hold my hand over here, because what can happen sometimes is you could drill part of the way through, and then the bit will grab the piece of wood and start spinning that piece of wood. And you think you're strong enough to hang on to it, but you're not. And before you know it, you have a spinning piece of wood and your fingers are trying to hang on, and it's going to smack you about 5 times before you're quick enough to get away from it, okay? So anytime the piece of wood is small, put it in a clamp. I love these old clamps just for that reason. And so I'll throw it in here and I'll tighten that thing down. I'll tighten that down. See how easy that is? Hang on, I'll get it. There we go. So tighten that down. Now, I'm not asking you to clamp the wood to the table, because that's hard to do, it's too small. I'm asking you to put the wood in a clamp. Now I can hang on, I have something to hang on to. I made that little piece of wood big, and it's not gonna spin. It's way too heavy to spin, and I can drill that now. If it catches, it's just gonna stop until I lift up. Okay, so much easier. So we've got a lot of different types of drill bits. Drill bits are changed with the chuck key. Each drill press has its own chuck key, it seems like, and the chuck key is gonna go right here, and you're gonna go counterclockwise to loosen it, clockwise to tighten it, and when you turn this, it just loosens these jaws right here, okay? For time's sake, I'm not gonna change every bit, but I do wanna show you some bits. This is a spade bit, all right? It's super flat. The advantage to the spade bit is that they're relatively cheap, but they do tear up the wood a little bit. So, you know, if you're in construction, you'll see these, but fine woodworking, you probably won't see these very much. If you're looking for, you know, cabinets or something like that, you're gonna see a mortising bit more often. A Forstner bit, I said that wrong, a Forstner bit, okay? So it does basically the same thing as the spade bit, but it just doesn't tear up the wood as much. So Forstner bit, spade bit. We've got a twist drill, which is probably the most common. Twist drills are made from metal and wood, okay? And then the hole saw. And in my engineering lab, we use the hole saw because we want the circle out of the middle a lot of times to make it as a wheel. In construction, you would use a hole saw like maybe in a floor joist or something, a piece of sheeting, so you could run a piece of plumbing or wire through there. You might use a hole saw to do that, okay? With some of these drill bits, it's a great idea if you're concerned about how something's gonna look. If you want it to look nice on both sides, you really should get in the habit of drilling halfway through and flipping the board over. So here's a good example. Let's say I want both edges on this board to look really nice. I just grabbed a scrap piece, so it's got extra holes in it. I'm gonna drill halfway through, and then I'm gonna back it out. I'm gonna flip the board over, and I'm gonna drill the other half through, okay? That does 2 things. It gives you a nice clean cut here, and when you're done, the round piece is sticking halfway out, and you can grab it and twist it out. If I was just to plunge this all the way through, now the round piece is stuck up on the inside, and it's a booger to get out. You gotta have a hammer and a screwdriver and about 10 minutes of time to get that out. So, in review, drill halfway through, lift up, flip the board over, drill the other half through, and you're gonna save yourself some time there. Okay? Last thing is, Oh, a couple more things. We want to have a board underneath whatever we're drilling. Okay, so this is just a scrap piece of wood. See, it's got a lot of holes in it. Scrap piece of wood there. And now when I drill, I'm not going to damage the bit. It's not going to run into the table. And I won't split out the bottom. Here's a great example. Like you can see right here, this didn't get drilled all the way through, probably because there was no scrap board underneath. Okay, if you want it to look nice, you need to have a scrap piece underneath. All right. Last thing is, I don't know if I can do that with this one. Didn't prepare very well here. Let's see if that's going to work. That's not going to work. Okay, the tables, the hand cranks are great. Sometimes the hand cranks aren't working though. Okay, that raises and lowers the table. There's a lock here, and wow, this is a bad example of a drill press. It doesn't even have a lock. What I'm getting at is sometimes you need to lift from the back and the front if you want to raise and lower the table. This is a magic drill press. It has no handle and no lock back there. Hopefully, when you're using one, you'll find a better one. We'll just forget I ever mentioned anything about that table. All right, we're good.